I'm going to take you through the agenda for this session. And so we're going to talk about the trends, a bit of the shift that we see within the industry and how the industry is really shaping up in terms of the IoT experience that we see in the hotel space. We would talk about the benefits of artificial intelligence and machine learning. We're going to talk about some stakeholder mapping in the IoT value chain. That's very important. We're going to, of course, talk about the Schneider EcoStruxure story and how that impacts the hotel stakeholders, operators, owners, etc. Energy performance contracting, a very, very important part of the industry today, a very important factor in the hotel chain. And then, of course, a few case studies with a few live numbers, and then, of course, you can ask questions to us. So I have a few guests here to help me with this session. My name is Shovan Sengupta. I'm the Global Vice President for Hotels in Schneider Electric. Amy Mosnerio, so he's the Director of IT for New Properties, Move-In-Pick, which has been recently acquired by Accor. So thank you, Amy, for coming down all the way from Dubai.
Thank you.
Damika, the chairman of one of our largest partners in Sri Lanka and Australia, specialist in performance contracting. Damika, thanks all the way for coming down from Australia as well.
Thank you.
So let's talk about a few numbers, a few important parameters here. We know the importance of the TripAdvisor, and you can see the ratings here. A small impact on TripAdvisor can really impact the image of a hotel company. I stay in any hotel, I have a bad experience, I put in a comment in TripAdvisor, I can tell you the GM of that property would really respond to that particular thing. Labor is the second largest component, which is very, very important. And we're talking about skilled labor and the lack of it. Are we really ready to address that? What can technology and how can we as a company or you guys there, how can you guys think of really using technology in impacting labor and the shortage of it? We're going to talk about a few trends here. Three things very important to me as I see it. One, digitization. Obviously, we know the impact of digital world. We see how all the hotel chains, whether it's the Marriotts, the Hiltons of the world, are really using technology in terms of digital keys, in terms of voice technology into the rooms. We're talking about a big change in the way the customers are experiencing hotel. Are the hotels really ready for the millennials of tomorrow? The millennials really don't worry much about the change or the loyalty programs. They want to feel an experience. What they feel at home, they want to have the same feeling in the hotel space. And obviously the third most important thing that we see as a company is fierce competition. And obviously we see that the competition is not just within the different chains, but we see that it's a chain now versus companies like Airbnb, and of course the Marriotts and the Accors of the world are really, really thinking about that. A few important changes in the radical customer driving. And again, I spoke about, you can see the different technologies, but digital platforming is the most important part that we see in a hotel, along with energy management. There is a lot of data now available. What are we doing with that data? What are you guys in the hotel space doing with that data? Are you really using that data to analyze what's going on in the hotel? Can you use it for sustainability? Can you use it for predictive maintenance? Can you use it for guest satisfaction? Important questions here. So here it's very important that I get a guy who has been in charge of the IT world for a long time, Amy, and take us through how you see it impacting not just from a hotel operations perspective, but also from a guest perspective, which is the most important part of the thing, right?
Thank you very much, Shovan. Thank you. Just to start, how many of you are involved into hotel system integration, be building management, energy system management?
Just put your hands up.
Just put your hands up. Great. How many of you are responsible for the hotel IT systems? Fantastic. So again, these are some of the steps we go through as we build the hotel. Maybe I'll just stand here so that you can see better the presentation. You see, we have different stakeholders and different steps we follow during the construction of the hotel. And here you see we have owners, operators, who are us, for example, and then you have the architect, you have the project managers, and so forth. All these are trying to bring together one single platform, a building, all right? So where all these people connect together, and whatever systems you're trying to bring together there, that's what the guest is going to use when the guest checks in or when the guest comes back to us. And as you can see, we have all this scope of construction from civil to delivering and commission that building to the city, all right? That particular building belongs to the smart city in that regard. But one question I will ask you, we are forgetting here one important stakeholders, all right? Take maybe 10 seconds, have a look. Who are we missing on this stakeholdership?
10 seconds, and I am expecting some of the operators to pick up their hands,
All right.
right?
All right? Guest, fantastic. So we are all building a hotel just for a guest, for that particular guest to come and stay. So whatever we do, whatever we design is for the guest. All right, so thank you, we're on the same page there. And here, sorry, how do I go back?
I think you'll have to press the
Red one?
this particular button.
Okay. Sorry for that. So here, again, we're asking our questions. Why do we need all these IoTs? Why do we need to connect all these componentry we need to run a hotel? Here I said we can try to say, okay, because we are offering 1, 2, 3 benefits. I try to list there a couple of them, all right? But this bottom line, if you look at all those bullet points there, we are trying to see how we can be adaptable, agile, prepare for the future generation. What is that next guest gonna need when they come and stay in our hotels, all right? How can we adapt our current standards to the new standards, to the new technologies? We cannot do that without deploying this new tech. We cannot deploy that without having systems which allows us to collect information and which allows us to bring that information to the table of the general manager, to the table of the hotel owner, and to the table of the overall stakeholders chain, because that information will be key to make any single decision as we move forward. So as we move on, the artificial intelligence, the machine-to-machine communication, the machine learning. Now, too much information is being collected. Who is there to understand that data? Who is there to interpret that data? We are not tech companies, hotels, all right? How can we leverage that information and bring solution to the table? When I go meet a given investor or a given owner, he will ask, why do you need this expensive technology? At home, I switch on light and off, all right? When I went to this hotel, everything, they don't have those systems, why do you need them? So we need to come forward and say, why we need really this artificial intelligence is to empower and try to achieve as much personalization process for the guest. When I say personalization is how do we come forward and say, yeah, guest, you came, you stay with us. How did you like your room? Did you like the room temperature? Did you like the lighting levels? Did you like to go to our restaurants? What really did you prefer while you were staying in a given hotel? And the more we collect, the more we personalize, the better we understand the guest. And to achieve all those personalization, we need a very good system integrator. We need that relationship. We need that company which will come and help us to interpret those information in order to personalize the guest stay, in order to make sure that when the guest can come next time, we can predict that the guest is really satisfied and is happy to stay with us. I can go on and on. But that's why I say we need a good system integrator. We need somebody who helps us to integrate all these services, all right? If I need to say, from the BMS to guest room management system, to the water management system, to the waste management, who is there in the hotel internally to go through all those details? Nobody. So if we build that strong partnership with, let's say, with Schneider or any other company trying to leverage and bring all these solutions on the table, that's when we can be able to generate all those information and try to, how call it, to build that customer data for a particular customer. And then, of course, as you will move forward, you will see that now we understand the energy consumed in a meeting room, we understand the energy consumed in a kitchen, we understand the energy consumed in a guest room, we understand the energy consumed in any space in the hotel. Therefore, we can customize the chillers, we can customize the FCU units, we can customize any machinery in the hotel. And by doing that, the chief engineer, housekeeping, and general manager, they will be able to have a simple dashboard which simplifies the information for them, and therefore they can easily save money because they can make decision. We have less people here, we have less occupancy, switch off this one, switch off this compressor, it's very hot here, bring in fresh air unit, and so forth. So that customization is needed. Who can help us? It's a good system integrator. Going forward, after saying and mentioning all those benefits there and whys, here is one real question which comes forward. What should we automate? Up to what level can we automate a hotel? All right? So that's a question. Because we say we are talking about lighting, we are talking about energy, we are talking about water management, we are talking about access to the guest rooms. What else can we automate? Is really that enough? Or there's something else we can do better? All right? So these are a couple of whys and hows we are trying to achieve, but bottom line is to make sure the guest experience is improved, guest experience is enjoyable, and the guests can come back. Now, here is one thing. We want to make sure that we have explained the technologies, we have given the stakeholders what it takes to employ or to deploy technology. Now, how do we make this technology scalable? How do we make this technology, after 10 years, how can I make sure that the technology is still live? How do I make sure that the guest data is still maintained and customized according to the new generation? So here, I say the only way of proving all these investments in front of the owner is to find a way to define stay. And this is what the definition I gave to stay. I mentioned the stay as a service, S as a service, because every single investment we are making in a hotel is to offer a service. Either from the bank which gave money to build the hotel, to the owner who owns the hotel, to the guest. Everybody's looking for the service. And that's what we are saying to the guest. And that service is binded to a time. B, switching on light. B, making a juice, coffee, anything is timed there. And the more we maintain consistency, the better we improve the guest experience. And then if you have that service delivered on time, it means it will always be available. Available for the guests, for the back of the house employees, and so forth. And then, of course, you're going to yield revenue and make sure business is moving on, and IT can go to bed and sleep on time. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. It was it was great. I think the ending was great. Huh? You want to sleep. Let me ask you a question here, and let's talk about a move-in pick angle. Is technology really bridging the gap between the different stakeholders in the in your space, like IT, design, engineering, housekeeping? Is it really helping in bridging the gap between all of you guys?
Yes, absolutely. It's bridging the gap, and here's all about the mindset change. before you have engineering, for example, engineering running their own machines. It's one managing chillers, pumps, and so forth. So now IT is asking, where's the data? Where are you collecting the data? All right? So no, X company can come and help and do this and fix this. And then you can predict maintenance. No need to have a technician going on every single meter, reading water, gas. So now we have this kind of platform to help and dashboard for the GM to decide and make decisions.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of technology, right? We
Absolutely.
really want to get, as I'm saying, there is a shortage of labor, skilled labor.
Absolutely.
And technology is there to help you guys at the regional level to make things better, right?
Definitely.
So thanks, Amy. It was a good talk. And just to give some data around why we are talking about digitization and energy, and you can see it, right? 1.7 billion devices have been digitized since 2014. And the number is really multiplying since then, right? We're not even stopping right now. This number could just multiply in like 5 times in maybe next 3 years. We're talking about electricity consumption, 60% up from 2017 to 2035. And we are talking numbers here in which it could actually be wrong out here because we are seeing more and more urbanization. So the need for energy consumption, the need for sustainability along with digital platforming is the key, I think, in the hotel world. And that's where we're talking about the EcoStruxure program here, because that's what Schneider can really do in helping hotels through the entire life cycle of the building. A lot of you might know Schneider from our products perspective, right? We do power, we do pretty much 10% of the mechanical and electrical scope of a hotel. Starting from power to BMS to the IT world, to the UPSs, etc. But we have seen the needs of these products then becoming more connected. We need connection there. We need smarter products which can then integrate to software level at the property. We need interfaces with third party, whether it's the PMS of Oracle or Hilton OnQ or door lock companies, hot sauce, etc. And then we have seen the need of these data then being analyzed at a level where we really have to get data at the cloud, which really helps the regional directors to analyze that particular property and the region and really give a detailing as to whether we can do predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, analyzing the data for sustainability, etc. So really a full life cycle of the building, not just selling it at the core green hotel or just the a new construction, but really taking it to the entire life cycle of the management. Some of the offers, and I'm going to give some examples of these offers later on. These are the new offers that we are launching here. So when you go around this, you can see a lot of these new launches here. And very important to understand that we are now talking about, and this is a live case study here in Singapore, that we started with a small guest room installation in that hotel. The operator then came and told us, integrate this to our BMS and to our PMS. We did that at stage 2. Then the operator came and said, I want voice commands inside the room, which means a guest comes in and Alexa says, Dear Mr. Chauvin, welcome to hotel. Have a great stay. Let me know how I can help you. And I can say, Alexa, good night, which means it can close all the curtains, put all the lights off, etc. So the 3 layers at the hotel, and this can all be scaled up, right? It's not just implemented today as we speak about it. And this is exactly what we did in that hotel. So we had voice, which had to be connected to the guest room RCU, which we have, and then of course the data being fed at the cloud format. So guest room and the room at the room level, Alexa giving the command to the guest room, and then of course we have the analytics, which is really taking all the commands and then coming up with detailing of what we could do. Edge computing, very important, because we see that, and exactly as I was saying, the product just cannot sit by itself. It really has to talk to all the different stakeholders outside our periphery. We call it as the connectivity ecosystem. It needs to talk to the oracles of the world. It needs to talk to the Hilton OnQs, the Alexas, the door locks of Kaba, Saflock, Salto, whatever. And I can go on, hot sauce. This is becoming more and more important, and we see this, and that's exactly why we came up with the EcoStruxure program, because we see that just selling products is not going to be enough to feed this market.
Siobhan, I'd like to connect it to the next door restaurant as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even I've heard that, and I don't know what's in Movenpick and Accor going forward, but you actually would like to have things inside the room saying there is a discount in the bar and stuff like that, correct?
Yeah.
So it's great, and I look forward to that next time I stay in a Movenpick. So I'm going to now switch over, and we're going to talk a bit about energy management and the importance that brings to the hotel value and the engineering guys. But it's important to understand that we actually have a partner who can do guaranteed energy management services. It's called performance contracting, which was very popular in Australia, UK, US, but these guys do it now beyond Australia. And so Damika, if you can take us through the case study, and then how do you implement this case study with real numbers, right?
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Amy. Thank for real explanation of how a hotel operates. I'm a real practical man, so we go into performance contracting.
You bring me bills.
Exactly. So there are two scenarios as you hotel owners and operators. One is you own, operate, and manage the hotel. Others lease the building and operate. So either way, when you acquire this type of properties, you inherit issues with engineering. So engineering cost of running energy is huge cost for the bottom line. So what we look at is come and see our clients and see what savings we can make, redesign and retrofit your system to make maximum savings. And for that, we use the brain cell of Schneider equipment, the EcoStruxure, to analyze all the data and give us a solution, as well as to give us the measure and verification ongoing. So looking at this particular site, this is one of our hotels we did. It was a retrofit. It's a 40-year-old hotel. It was previously it was Oberoi chain from India. Now it's Cinnamon Grand Colombo. It is we had a very old system which we managed to do engineering and study the whole system from the beginning, and we found out what are the issues from the installation to the existing operating conditions. And we managed to look at the efficiencies, and we managed to reduce their air conditioning load by 50%. That's a huge saving for the hotel. And also we looked at the health and safety and how the system operates, and also completely automate the engineering. So based on this, we had a $1.1 million US for the retrofit, and it was a 3.1 year payback period for the client, and we managed to save $350,000 US a year, and also save 3,600 tons of greenhouse gas. So this is a very good project, and we've done so many projects such as this, but we use the Schneider EcoStruxure to gather all the data and analyze. And between this period, for the 3.1 years, we also maintain the plant at no cost. All the cost is included, and until the payback period is given to the client, every service is being managed and operated, and also comprehensively guaranteed. And finally, we give a bank guarantee for the 350,000 savings every year, revolving guarantee.
And how long does it take to retrofit such a project?
It's 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, this particular project we finished in 4 months without a single shutdown.
Okay.
Operating hotel. So it is a very important thing that when we engineer, we make sure that we look at the operation importance of the hotel or any building, and make sure that we minimize the shutdown, because you need to help the client. So also when you look at a hotel room, it costs about $2,000 to $3,000 per room per year. on your energy cost. So it's quite a lot. And also mechanical, it is important that when you incorporate mechanical, electrical system as well as the DDC system. So when this integration will bring you 20 to 30% savings. And we can't just install a chiller or a pump and say we are saving, but without analyzing data and also giving the payback period, guarantee period to the client. But that is important part is to having a system that can actually be accountable. And there's a way of calculating the savings every year and every month and every day. So based on that, you need to, as hotel owners, it's very important you select your vendors very carefully, because a lot of people can promise stuff and it will not deliver. So the way you make sure is your vendors are accountable.
Ask me about it.
What?
Ask me about it.
Right. Yeah. So you have to be accountable, and also their data has to be accurate. The accuracy is very important in what they're giving. So you have to use international measure and verification protocols to make sure those data is accurate, and reliability of what you buy. So it has to be reliable to work for a longer period of time, and also the practicality of the system setup. And the sustainability, you should not buy a system that is run for 1 year or 2 years and then you replace it again. So you need to look at about 20 years of operation and the savings you're going to get. You are continually saving for over 20-year period. So this is the most important stuff when you look at purchasing equipment and installation, because engineering can be very expensive. So again, EcoStruxure helps us to get those data, analyze, and like a brain cell, and make sure that customer gets this outcome. So hospitality industry is facing, as you know, challenges. As Amy, like you have done everything to save cost in the F&B and laundries, whatever you had done. So now it comes to the electricity and energy.
Yes.
That is the most important area that you can save. So if you do it right, you can save a lot of money on operating costs. And EPC solution, energy performance contracting solution with a guaranteed outcome, will be the right way for you to go forward. And all will be based on the return on investment, and your investment should be returned in as shortest period as possible. And typical savings equal to over 1,000 room nights. So at La Cinnamon Grand, we did about 3,600 room night savings for a year, being that you don't have to pay anymore. So you don't have to sell. It's a great thing for the general manager.
And Damika, what's the 3,600 room nights? That's per year, right?
That's
annually.
Per year, annually. Yeah. So if you have a 20-year savings, you can calculate a massive amount of room nights that you don't have to sell. So and it will be financially guaranteed for make sure your bottom line and your finance controllers are happy to have a project such as that. So this is another hotel we just finished in Sri Lanka. Also, it has a 3.3 year payback with a $500,000 investment, and its annual guarantee savings is $150,000, and given 1,100 room night savings. So every project we do, we equate into your bottom line and make sure your general manager and your finance department is very happy to go on projects such as this. Thank you, Sohan.
Thank you, Damika. It was, I need this one. So yeah, thank you so much. It clearly shows that we can actually do energy savings now in terms of real numbers. And this is what I was talking about in terms of doing cloud level monitoring and analysis. It's no longer a dream, and that's what we're trying to show here, that with Marriott, we run their program for mesh on sustainability. With Hilton, we run their sustainability program with a particular cloud-based software called Resource Advisor. We do building analytics with Westin, which basically, and I'm going to show you one parameter of what we come up with and possibly what we could do. With Taj in India, we'd actually do Power Advisor, which actually gives you data on all your power back of the house equipment. Hyatt, we do the same for them in terms of understanding their asset value. So the Westin here is important, and I'll come back to you, Damika. just on when we just did the overall analysis, we saw 42,000 kilowatt hour annual savings. With your study, where do you think if once we really implement a proper energy management system into a hotel, where can this go up to? Up to what level of kilowatt hour?
Yeah, normally, based on 20% of your energy bill, that's the 20 to 30% is what we're looking at. So in a substantial hotel, you're looking at over 1 million kilowatt hour savings.
Wow. So which means on my electricity bill, 20% is overkill. Means it's wasted energy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can see the importance of analysis and then of course taking actions. Means you can do analysis, but you can just sit with your reports and take no actions, right? I've had a lot of experiences, but you can really do this. And you have companies like here with Mr. Damika who can actually give you that guaranteed performance as well, that you can save that extra bit of energy. Very, very simply, the biggest bold idea that we need to do in terms of disruption is not just guest satisfaction and energy sustainability, that's of course there in all hotels, but are we really implementing what we are taking out, what we are seeing in the world? Are we really impacting that digital knowledge that we have in the hotel? I still see a lot of hotels with key cards, right? And we talk about changing it to occupancy, voice, but are we really impacting it? Are we really understanding that the customers and the millennials of the world require this? What are you? Let me ask you, what's the bold step that Movenpick would take in a year's time?
Wow. That's a big question. Technology keeps changing every other month. But the aim is to automate as much as I can in the guest rooms. Basically, seamlessly, you come and check in. You can have your self-check-in. That's what we are trying to promote. And of course, as you arrive in your room, you should either use your mobile or you should use any available tablet you carry with you. That becomes your key. That's what we wish for. And as you are in your room temperature, not when you come in, the housekeeping is running to put the card and try to cool the room in advance. All right?
Or when they go out, they keep the card and then go out.
Yeah, so to get rid of that part and then try to see if the presence or motion sensors can help us to manage the lighting and the level of lighting, connect on dim at satisfactory levels of each particular guest. And then above all, the AC, the conditioned air in the room, and the quality of the air in the room, quietness of the room. So these are things which are close to my heart when I'm trying to work together with interior designers, with architects, and so forth. Try to see, because all those things are the things which the guest is looking at, and those are things we are being measured at in terms of sustainability and be certified as a green, global, certified hotel. So that's one of the key points.
Thank you so much. It's important for all of us to think in that direction because, we of course have a job to do in terms of you as an operator or an owner or an integrator or we as a technology provider. But are we really helping the guests of tomorrow to have a seamless, better experience? So with that, I'll open up to questions. But before I do that, please remember that EcoStruxure is there for the full life cycle of a hotel building. I'm not just talking about the architecture, design, construction guys, but we want to really bring that entire family together of the hotel world, the IT guys, the engineering guys, the operation guys, to work together in giving that seamless experience to the hotel world and the hotel customers. So I'll open up to questions. Please feel free to ask any questions. Nothing is stupid. And so please do that. You will require a mic.
The shaving which shown here, that is only electrical shaving or it also include the modification in the mechanical systems?
I'll let Damika answer
It's
that.
a mechanical system modification and upgrade, and also that equates to the energy consumption savings.
Okay, thank you.
So when the system, between the system like lighting control and BMS and facility, that kind of system, how can we collaboration or integration the system? Because each of servers, each the operation running, but when we want to save the costing, the mandatory is the between the system is communication. Who is responsible? How can integration? What is the key point?
You want to
Wow.
take that?
So I share the same concern with you. Good question. That's where, for example, that's why I said in the presentation, we need a good integrator. A good integrator who is not selling me 10,000 things being integrated or configured by 10,000 people. And then during the commissioning, you don't know who to embrace first. All right? So that's why we push. And they say, for example, if I have a BMS, let the BMS be the heart of the platform where I can go and see everything. Have A system, B system, C system, but let's all of them bring that dashboard together on the BMS. And that same dashboard, it's easy to give to the owner. It's easy to give to the hotel operations. It's easy to target housekeeping. It's easy to target engineering. So that's the simplicity approach I have in my own opinion.
Yeah, and just to kind of say a word on top of that, companies like us, obviously, we are technology providers. So we are working in conjunctions with, let's say, Oracle for PMS, or patented PMS for companies like Hilton, right? They have OnQ, or with Amadeus for hot sauce, or with Alexa. We bring technologies, and then, of course, we have partners that we train, and then we go and serve customers like the end users, whether it's Movenpick, whether it's Marriott, whether it's Hilton, obviously with the ownership group. So
Also, this is a very good point that you raise. It's important that you, at the beginning, you analyze your distribution of your energy. Especially, what percentage of energy goes to the mechanical, electrical, lighting, your laundries and all that. Once you understand that, you pick the ones that higher savings are, and then you integrate and upgrade that part. And the savings, ongoing savings, you can use to integrate into your laundries, your lifts, your escalators, whatever. So you can bring for the Schneider the system. We can integrate to the system all the other system in the coming years. So it is a platform that you have that you can connect other systems ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Any more questions?
Hotel colleagues, please go ahead and ask anything. Maybe we can share concerns as well.
Yeah, well, let me. I've got a person who is very senior from an engineering perspective. Kenneth, I'm going to ask a question to you. Can you hear me? You can't. Can you hear me now? Okay. So can you just pass on the mic? You've been in the engineering world for 30 odd years, right? Working in Dusit, Hilton, I don't know, ING, and now with Alila as the Vice President of Engineering. Tell us the two biggest concerns that you have faced in the last 30 years to this group.
I'm not hearing you very well, but
Yeah, well, it's a system. Technology sometimes can work crazy.
it's not hearing well. But anyway, the one of my major concerns is always the human error involved in everything that you manage, which is why we're going into automation. That is the only thing that will help. Human error is the biggest problem we face in any industry you go to. So that's the other one. And then the data collection is another one, which is, if it is automated, it's easy. And you again depend on human to collect data. It can be very inaccurate in many ways.
Absolutely.
So that's the two major things that I would think of, So, and then obviously, when you want to do this, the cost impact is obviously most important to owners. Mm-hmm. And then the return on investment is another one, right? So this is basically the key things that I was looking at really.
Okay.
So,
And with companies like you, there's a lot of opportunities to look at because you have a wide range of things to look at. Like you say, you have the power advisor, you have the analyzers, you have all sorts of things that you can look at, which is very useful.
yeah, I want to add, would you like to have in the future an employee called the IoT engineer, or you want to leave that to IT?
Sorry?
Would you like to have a special engineer to look at automation or reporting, or you'd like to leave that to IT department?
No. We from where we are, we work with IT very closely.
Okay.
IT and us are actually partners.
Perfect.
We're not different departments. We are the same.
I salute you.
Without IT, nothing happens, and without us, IT doesn't happen too.
Thank you.